Hello and welcome to News Central TV. My name is Mazino Appeal. Your stories making headlines beyond the continent. We begin in Europe, where Prince Harry clinched a monumental victory on Wednesday after Rupert Murdoch's UK newspaper group settled his lawsuit, admitting unlawful actions at the Sun tabloid for the first time and agreeing to pay substantial damages. Harry had been suing News Group newspaper, the publisher of The Sun and the defunct News of the World, alleging illegal information gathering from 1996 to 2011. NGN also acknowledged it had invaded the private life of Harry's late mother, Princess Diana. The settlement, which included an 8-figure sum, marks a significant admission of wrongdoing by NGN, which had previously denied such claims. Harry, along with co-claimant Tom Watson, emphasized that his settlement exposes long-hidden truths and calls for accountability. Despite the apology, in which NGN acknowledged phone hacking, surveillance, and misuse of private information by journalists and private investigators instructed by them, the statement did not directly address allegations of cover-ups by senior figures, including former Sun editor Rebecca Brooks. And still in Europe, French government spokeswoman Sophie Primus has called for a renewed partnership between France and Germany, saying the Franco-German couple must really get back together and give Europe a new impetus. Her comments come ahead of a farewell lunch between President Emmanuel Macron and Chancellor Olaf Scholz at the Elysee Palace, just 1 month before the German parliamentary elections. The relationship between France and Germany has long been pivotal to Europe, the unity of which, and also cooperation. Historically, both nations have collaborated closely, with the French leader visiting Germany 31 times since his inauguration in 2017.
L'union de la France, nous pensons avec le gouvernement et le président de la République que l'union de la France et de l'Allemagne, malgré quelques divergences de vues sur certains points, on en a vu récemment dans le commerce extérieur, est tout à fait fondamental pour redonner à l'Europe un élan qui est nécessaire pour affirmer sa force et affirmer une politique unitaire. Ce couple que l'on caractérise parfois de couple franco-allemand doit vraiment se reconstituer et redonner à l'Europe un élan aux côtés de sa présidente.
Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz have called on France and Germany to lead efforts in building a stronger and more united Europe. This appeal comes at a pivotal moment as Europe claims to safeguard its interests and reinforce its global standing, particularly in light of challenges posed by Donald Trump's America. In a joint statement, Macron and Scholz underscored the vital role for France and Germany that they must play in shaping the future of the European Union.
En fonction de la nouvelle administration aux États-Unis, il appartient plus que jamais aux Européens, et donc à nos deux pays, de jouer tout leur rôle pour consolider une Europe unie, forte et souveraine. Une Europe attachée aux liens transatlantiques qui sache affirmer aussi ses intérêts propres et les défendre, avec ses valeurs et ses instruments européens.
To further discuss this, I'm joined by Godson Azu, International Relations Expert and Director, Chatterand Merger Center for Leadership and also Good Governance UK. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us, Godson. Let's talk Macron and Scholz. Now, they have called for France and Germany to take the lead in building a stronger European Union, kind of like a marriage, and I think she also alluded to that. So what are your thoughts on this?
Good evening to you and the viewers. Obviously, this has been coming, and I'm very certain that the President of France and the President of the Chancellor of Germany would have been aware of the expectations with Donald Trump assuming office in the last 2-3 days ago or so. And for me, I think Donald Trump is still Donald Trump, probably much better president than he was some 8 years ago or so. The most important thing here, and from my point of view, is that the two leaders of the two biggest European countries, which forms the cornerstone of the European Union, their collaboration ever since the establishment of the European Union has been a formidable one, to the extent that in international relations or in international circles is regarded as they are both the engine house of the European Union. Any one of them pulling out of the European Union destabilizes the integration. So it's very, very important that both of them continue to harness their relationship, strengthen their relationship in terms of ensuring the stability and the survival of the European integration. So obviously, it's a very critical moment for both of them at this period in time. Having understood that Donald Trump as an individual is a very unpredictable personality, and his leadership style is more or less that of a realist agenda. Someone who believes that the world cannot be managed by a collective of leaders or nations, but as a matter of individual interest protection, dealing with each and individual nations according to their expectations and needs and demands, rather than dealing with a collective or body of nations.
Okay.
In a global agenda. So it's very obvious that the European Union as a multilateral body will be having a very difficult moment dealing with Donald Trump, a unilateral person who wants to be dealing with nations on an individual bilateral level.
So Godson, I've got another question here. Given the current geopolitical challenges, particularly in relations to the United States under Donald Trump, like you're mentioning now, how can smaller EU member states contribute to the EU's efforts to strengthen its global position? What might their roles be in supporting France or maybe Germany?
Well, the roles is trusting the ability of France and Germany, Olaf and Macron, being able to pull the smaller countries together, to trust in their ability to be a leading figure in the way they deal and relate and engage with Donald Trump in the next coming weeks and months and years during his 4 years term in office. The fear here is that there is a growing populist agenda across Europe. There is a very strong movement of the far right who obviously, coincidentally, or if I may use that word, in line with some of the ideas of Donald Trump. You understand? And these guys believe they believe that there is need to fight for the nationalhood of their nations or their country, rather than fighting a collective nationalhood of a collective pool of nations together as one whole. And so this will be a very weakened point where Donald Trump is going to exploit. He's going to be exploiting the support of these far-right groups, populist groups, or nationalist, realist nationalist groups that are looking forward to harness the national interest of their individual country at the expense of a collective interest of a pool of 26, 27 countries together in Europe, and which is going to be a very, very difficult thing, and which is the reason why the collaboration, the cooperation, the interest accumulation between France and Germany is very, very important at this moment, because Germany holds the economic strength of the European Union integration. France holds the political integration of the European Union structure. But the fact is that both countries are also at the verge of collapse in terms of the emerging populist structures in both countries, which is obviously going to impact on the established form of a traditionalist political system in France and Germany. If that happens, that gives Donald Trump more leverage to actually be one of the instruments that will eventually disintegrate the integration of the European states in Europe.
Okay.
And there's this ongoing debate in the international realm with regards to the survival of the European Union and its integration.
Okay, then. So I hear you there, Godson.
It's very likely that with these emerging far-right players and Donald Trump agenda across Europe, trying to deal with nations according to nations, rather than dealing with collective body of multilateral organizations.
So, Godson, in furtherance to that last question, what obstacles might arise as France and Germany push for greater EU integration? How can countries with different political or economic priorities like Poland or maybe even Hungary be brought into its vision for more united Europe?
Obviously, on the basis of the security of Europe, because one of the two key reasons why the European Union was created was to bring an end to fascist agenda or expansionist agenda by an authoritarian leader emerging in any of the European countries, and also to bring about a platform to integrate the collective pool of states or countries in Europe for economic development. And at the moment, the economic aspect of it is being kind of structured in a very positive direction with regards to the creation of the common currency in Europe, the euro, which has brought a huge financial benefit to mostly small countries in the Union, such as Poland and the rest of them, benefiting from the European currency, the euro. But then the fact is that they have issues with the political aspect of it with regards to the issues of policy agenda on political structures, which also has its impact on the security nature of some of these European countries, especially those from the eastern angle of Europe, Poland and Hungary and the rest of them, and the emerging conflict between Russia and Ukraine. And so it's going to be obviously a challenging moment for Germany and France to be able to convince some of these smaller countries to work in harmony and in good faith with them to ensure the stabilization, the continuous strategic stronghold of the European integration in the coming months or years with regards to the interference of Donald Trump, and also the relation that Donald Trump is going to rebuild with President Putin of Russia, having to understand that some of these far-right movement populist groups in Europe, in Germany, in France, even in Poland, are having a kind of interest in rekindling a relationship with Russia.
All right, then.
I feel that Europe should build a better relationship with Russia rather than fighting against Russia because they need Russia more. And you understand that one of the biggest problems of Europe now is the oil and gas.
Yes, indeed. Now, Godson, I wish I could let you continue. I wish I could let you continue. It's always very interesting listening to you, but unfortunately, we're on a schedule. But thank you very much for your very informed contributions this evening.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Always
there for you anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We're now going on a short break. When we return, UK warns Putin after Russian spy ship enters British waters. We'll be back. Welcome back. Now, tragedy has struck in Germany where a 28-year-old Afghan national has been arrested in connection with a deadly knife attack. Police spokesperson Maximilian Baze in Aschaffenburg said the suspect allegedly killed a 2-year-old child and a man while seriously injuring 2 others. The incident has sent shockwaves through the community. Authorities are working to determine the motive behind the attack. The suspect remains in custody as the investigation continues.
Wir haben einen 41 Jahre alten Mann, der getötet worden ist, und auch einen 2-jährigen Jungen. Wir konnten mit Polizeikräften kurze Zeit später einen zu Fuß flüchtigen Tatverdächtigen festnehmen. Wie wir jetzt auch in der Zwischenzeit mit Sicherheit sagen können, ist es ein 28-jähriger afghanischer Staatsangehöriger. Der befindet sich jetzt in Polizeigewahrsam. Wir haben darüber hinaus noch 2 schwerverletzte Personen, die im Krankenhaus behandelt werden.
British Defence Secretary John Healey on Wednesday informed Parliament that the Royal Navy had been monitoring a Russian spy ship, the Yanta, as it passed through UK waters. Healey alleged that the vessel is gathering intelligence and mapping critical underwater infrastructure. He issued a stern warning to Russian President Vladimir Putin, saying the UK is fully aware of such activities and would take firm action to protect its national interest. The ship entered British waters on Monday, approximately 45 miles off the coast, prompting the Royal Navy to deploy 2 vessels to track its movements. This marks the second time the Yanta has been detected in UK waters, following a previous sighting in November.
And I also want President Putin to hear this message. We see you, we know what you're doing, and we will not shy away from robust action to protect this country. And with our NATO allies, we're strengthening our response to ensure that Russian ships and aircraft cannot operate in secrecy near the UK or near NATO territory. Mr. Speaker, this is the second time that Yandar has entered our waters in recent months. In November, the ship was also closely watched and detected loitering over UK critical undersea infrastructure. To deter any potential threat, I took measured steps then as part of a clear direct response to the Russian vessel.
Prime Minister Keir Starmer thanked Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu for the efforts made by Israeli government to secure the release of hostages, including British-Israeli Emily Damari. Starmer described the moment Emily was reunited with her family as wonderful, but also highlighted the ongoing human cost of the conflict. The 2 leaders discussed the fragile ceasefire between Israel and Hamas and agreed on the need to work toward a permanent peace solution that guarantees Israel's security and stability. Starmer emphasized that the UK is ready to support a political process that could lead to a viable Palestinian state. He also stressed the importance of ensuring uninterrupted humanitarian aid to Gaza to support the Palestinians in desperate need. The ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas took effect on Sunday, marking the beginning of a 3-phase deal.
The whole House will also welcome the release of Emily Damari and other hostages from Gaza. We must now see the ceasefire deal implemented in full, the release of the remaining hostages, and a surge in aid into Gaza for citizens.
To the Middle East now. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his wife Emine Erdogan have attended a funeral in Bolu to honor 8 people who lost their lives in a tragic fire at the Grand Kartal Hotel in the Kartalkaya ski resort. The devastating blaze claimed the lives of 76 people at the 12-story luxury hotel on Tuesday, prompting serious questions about the adequacy of safety measures at the establishment.
Tabii canımız yandı, yüreğimiz yandı ve şu anda da bu görevi ifa etmenin gayreti içerisindeyiz. Rabbim inşallah ebedi alemde de birlikte bizleri haşr-cem eylesin. Tüm ailesine.
Now let's also tell you that Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has appointed diplomat André Correia de Lago as president of the UN Climate Conference COP30, set to take place in Belém, Brazil in November 2025. For the first time, the annual UN climate talks will be held in the Amazon rainforest, a region profoundly impacted by climate change. Correia de Lago has voiced concerns over the latest effects lasting effects of former U.S. President Donald Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Agreement on the conference preparations. As global temperatures continue to break records and political tension over climate action rise, COP30 aims to unite nations to address the urgent challenge of climate change. And still talking climate, a Dutch court has ruled that the Netherlands must meet its 2030 nitrogen reduction target or face a €10 million penalty following a lawsuit brought by Greenpeace. The court found that the Dutch government had failed to protect several EU-designated nature reserves, which play a vital role in absorbing nitrogen emissions. Excessive nitrogen levels have been shown to harm water, soil, and air quality. Although the Netherlands is expected to miss its 2025 target, the court emphasized the critical importance of achieving the 2030 goal. The decision also criticized the current far-right coalition for rolling back climate policies and reducing transition funding. Greenpeace welcomed the ruling, calling it a step forward in addressing environmental concerns.
De rechtbank is van oordeel dat Greenpeace voldoende wetenschappelijk bewijs heeft aangedragen, waaruit blijkt dat de stikstofdepositie in vrijwel alle Natura 2000 gebieden een belangrijke oorzaak is van de verslechtering van die gebieden en dat die verslechtering mede te wijten is aan de stikstofneerslag in de periode.
In South America, Venezuelan police have achieved a significant victory with the takedown of notorious criminal Alexis and wielding control over large parts of Patera, one of Venezuela's largest slums. Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello announced that Alexis was responsible for numerous murders and extortions terrorizing the region. A reward of $150,000 had been offered for his capture. Alexis' death marks a major milestone for Venezuelan law enforcement. He had been known for his dominance over Zone 6 of José Felix Ribas in Patare, where violent clashes between the gang and rivals claimed many innocent lives.
Hoy en una operación a las 7:30 de la mañana, en una operación en el sector, en la carretera Petare-Santa Lucía, fila de Mariche, sector Las Lagunitas, carretera de Filas de Sauce, en un enfrentamiento armado, un enfrentamiento haciéndole armas a una comisión de inteligencia de nuestras fuerzas policiales, ha caído abatido el delincuente Alexis Alexander.
And that's all on Beyond the Continent this evening. Do remember you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and of course on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. My name is Mazino Appeal.